All right. Welcome to the Tuesday night Principal Chiro broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's call, along with
Patrick,
my co-MC Patrick and
Emma,
my co-MC Emma. And we're excited to have on Dr. Seth Kaiser in a moment, who will introduce. But before we get there, Emma, stop eating. You're the host of the show. You can't be eating while you're doing that, okay? Hey, by the way, before we do some of these overlays, what happened today? What did we buy today? Patrick?
The new house.
We closed on a new house today. Yeah, very exciting. Thank you. Thank you for all the well wishes from all of our DE people. It means the world to us. What are you saying you're welcome for? I said thank you. Emma, stop eating. All right, so DE is upon us, guys. What do we got? 2 weeks left. April 2nd we're at. DE is April 18th, so 2.5 weeks. 16 days away from Spring DE 2024 at the Sheraton Sand Key Beach Resort, April 18th to the 21st. Look at that beautiful scene on the beach right on the Gulf of Mexico. It's an awesome hotel. So if you haven't registered yet, go to www.lifede.com. Get registered. There is still time. If you need a hotel room, contact Kat. She'll put you on the wait list, and hopefully something will open up. But we'd love to have you there at DE. We also have some upcoming DE dates here. So there's the Clearwater one we spoke of, April 18th to the 21st. Then back to Atlanta, July 18th to the 21st. And then October 24th to the 27th, again in Atlanta. That's our 60th anniversary one. There it is, the 60th anniversary one. The Diamond Anniversary of Dynamic Essentials. Diamonds are forever, and so is DE. I think that was Kat's tagline. Probably something better than that, but I butchered it. So anyway, but please join us for 60 years of Dynamic Essentials, and then we're back in Clearwater in early January for the last one. All right, guys. We had to be on tonight for Dr. Seth, right?
Yep.
And a lot of you guys might be like, who's this guy, Dr. Seth Kaiser? I don't know who he is. Never heard of him. Well, Dr. Seth Kaiser is a new doc. He's only been in practice like a year, but he has burst onto the scene, and he's an incredible associate in our office. These kids love him, right? You love Dr. Seth?
I love Dr. Seth.
And he has really just become an incredible associate in our office. And honestly, we treat him like family. He just got married to his incredible chiropractor wife, Dr. Kaylee, this year. We were able to go to the wedding, which was awesome. And I decided to invite Dr. Seth to DE a couple of DEs ago. And I invite all my associates to DE. Some of them get it. Some of them don't. Some of them, kind of get it. I can tell you this guy is all in on DE. And not only that, but he's all in on chiropractic. He has been doing incredible things in our office. The patients love him. He's doing great pediatric work. He just got his CACCP from the ICPA. And he is just on fire for the principal. And I thought, why not have a newbie like Dr. Seth come on here? He's been coming to the last few DEs. He's coming to next DE in a couple of weeks. And let's have him share his heart. Let's get someone new in here, share his heart for the principal, tell his chiropractic story. And I know he's just going to just light it on fire here. I know he's a little nervous, so we got to root him on, guys. So from Vero Beach, Florida, let's give it up for Dr. Seth Kaiser. Take it away, Dr. Seth. We love and appreciate you.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you, Dr. Brian, for the intro. Hello.
We lost your camera.
That's so weird.
I'm going to bring Dr. Brian back for, oh, there you are.
There we go. We got it. Okay, well, sorry about that. Yeah, so I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. This is very far outside my comfort zone, but I kind of wanted to give Dr. Brian a shout out for having me do this because it's a great opportunity to be able to do this. He kind of just casually on Friday was just asking me about Band of Brothers. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen it a few times. It's not a problem. And he's like, okay, well, you feel like speaking on Tuesday? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, might as well. I'm like, he said, well, you have a day to figure it out. So you have to give me an answer now. I'm like, okay, great. So decided to do it, and I'm glad that I'm here. So this is a great moment. So to kind of get started, I kind of wanted to go over, start with my story with chiropractic and how I even got here. So when I was in high school, I was in competitive cheerleading. My parents owned a cheerleading gym, and they kind of just forced me into it. Well, after a little bit of time, I ended up really liking it, and I started getting into coaching cheer as well. And when I was doing all of that, I was just wrecking my back, tumbling, doing all the flipping, stunting, everything. And I went to a chiropractor just not knowing anything about it, just hearing that it helps with low back pain. And I remember going to my first visit, and the chiropractor I saw was a family friend. And I remember he adjusted my atlas. And when that happened, lights just went on. And I have no idea what happened, how that even occurred. So at this time, I was kind of on track to be a physical therapist. But as soon as that started happening, I continued to get adjusted. I noticed that in cheer, I was so much stronger. I was faster. I was able to not be so worn out after each routine that we'd have to run through. And I just knew there was so much more to that. So once I continued going, I completely switched out of physical therapy and I went straight into chiropractic. And I went to Palmer, Florida. So that's kind of where everything started. But prior to going, I met Dr. Brian. One of my friends was a patient at the office and introduced me to him. And I started shadowing at his office a little bit before I went to chiropractic school. And it was amazing that I was able to be there because he gave me so much insight prior to going into chiropractic, all about philosophy. And, being at Palmer, Florida, quarter two, we got some philosophy and then didn't really talk about it again. So it was huge to me that I always kept it in my head that philosophy needs to be in there somewhere. Like, why would they teach us? Why is it one of the three pillars of chiropractic if we don't learn about it, So fast forward, I started getting into pediatrics only because when I was coaching back when I was doing cheer, I started with 3-year-olds and the special needs kids, and I loved every minute of it. And interesting enough, I didn't go into sports chiropractic. I wanted to do pediatrics, and that was my calling. So I knew that the best way to go would be to head right into the ICPA and start taking all the courses and getting as much knowledge as I can. So as soon as I graduated last March, Dr. Brian hired me straight out of school, and I've been at his office ever since. And I know that, I'm a year into practice, but to be honest, I've seen so much in that office, and it's been great. So again, he kind of talked about how he's brought me to DE, and honestly, that has been the best thing out of everything he's done for me so far, and I'm so appreciative for that. I learned so much after just my first DE, and I just had to keep sharing it and keep diving into it. So, I mean, that's pretty much my story into chiropractic, but I kind of want to just touch on a few of my favorite things that I've learned over the time being at DE and practicing at Dr. Bryan's. And, one of the first things that I've loved hearing about is just giving 100% love the whole time that you're there. And I feel like that's super important as a chiropractor in patient's experience. You have to just love on them. It doesn't matter, if they're not the most easy to love on or if they're just accepting all of it. Does not matter. Every patient deserves that love, because without that, you're not really congruent with what's going on in chiropractic and with DE. So I've kind of learned through everything that, if you're giving love and you're giving an adjustment, your intent is to help move that bone and heal that person. And sorry, I'm a little nervous. Yeah, just basically heal that person, or let the body heal itself. So something that kind of stuck with me is, when you adjust somebody with love, it's like a piece of you is going into that person. So if something of you is going into that person, it needs to be love, because that is the only way that they are going to heal at their most optimal potential. A great thing that I've kind of seen through my time, shown up every day with love. This little boy that I've worked on, he's about 2 years old. He had the roughest start when it came to just starting his life. He had the most severe form of spina bifida, Chiari malformation, hydrocephalus. I mean, the list goes on. And this 2-year-old was not crawling. He was not talking, not doing anything. So this mom brought him to me, and, the only thing that I can think of is we just need to clear him of his subluxation and just love on this kid, because he needs it. He is a sick kid. And when we did that. And after the first adjustment, second visit, mom comes back and said, Dr. Seth, this kid is crawling after one adjustment. I'm like, what? Like, that's amazing. So it's amazing that just giving love and adjusting that subluxation does so much for that little kid in just one adjustment. And, now that I've seen this kid over and over, I mean, he is now getting into walking. All his like primitive reflexes are going away. He is, getting those developmental milestones, and everything's doing great. And that is something that has just really resonated with me throughout my time. And it's just been great. Another thing that I like from DE is just being a very positive influence and like being a light for people. I think that it was Peter Amlinger who said, if you're going to be a positive influence on this world, you will have the negative to balance you out. But how big of an influence can you make on this world being a light to these people? And that really stuck with me, because that's how can you be in this profession and not try to really help and educate and promote all wellness, health, everything, if not for just trying to focus on that positive influence. So a great story that I kind of figured out with that one, of course, with the negatives, you hear, of course, you try to be a positive, and you always have that patient that's a little trying to balance you out a little bit. And I for sure have my fair share of patients who are just definitely challenge that part of myself, trying to be a light in that situation. But it is what it is. We have all of them, but we just love them anyway. But another person that has kind of really helped me see this is so real is this other child that I've been working with. He's about 11, and over time he has progressively getting like a facial nerve compression. It's not Bell's palsy, but it's just over time been getting compressed, and no one's figured out why. No one's done anything, and this poor kid has been getting really sad about it. It's kind of affecting his self-esteem. He's just kind of embarrassed because you can kind of see there's a little twitch in his eye. His smile isn't symmetrical. But just listening to him and just encouraging him, telling that we're going to figure this out through our adjustments, again, going through love, helping this boy with his subluxations. And it was so funny that I was doing this today, because he came in today, and the mom came in and showed me a picture of him from Christmas and a picture from him on Easter just yesterday. I've seen him consistently. This is probably, today was the 5th time, and there was a huge change in his facial symmetry, just from working cranial adjusting, working his atlas, doing all the things. And he came to me today saying, "Dr. Seth, I love you. I thank you so much for this. I'm going to become a chiropractor when I grow up because of you." I'm like, wow. Like, to be able to influence somebody in this level, it's huge. And I'm just so grateful that I have that opportunity to do that. And the third thing that, I think that I've really come to hang on to, especially being at Dr. Bryan's office, being so high volume, it's serving in abundance with nothing but love. I feel like that is the key to having a very successful practice. And to be honest, again, I came from Palmer, Florida, so a lot of my friends are into a lot of the rehab type stuff, and I've talked to them, and they've said, yeah, I'll see probably 3-4 patients a day. I'm like, I mean, that's great, good for you. But, nothing, I ask them about the education towards anything. Are you, inspiring them in any way? And they're like, I mean, yeah, no, not really. So it's just so interesting to see the dynamic of how people treat patients compared to being in a smaller, low volume practice like that. And then serving from abundance, because it's all about just educating, promoting health, and just keeping chiropractic the center of everything we do. And I love to see how it inspires people so much. So I mean, that's pretty much the big things that I've come to love about DE, and what I'll continue doing at my time at Dr. Bryan's, and even when we go on to start our own practice. To kind of close out and to kind of solidify everything I've kind of talked about, one more story. I've had one patient who came in, got into a car accident, really, really messed up her shoulder. And it was bad, having a lot of neurological loss. She couldn't really move it. Range of motion was bad, all kinds of stuff. And I've been working with her for about, I don't know, probably about 2 months at that point. And this day coming on now was the Monday after my first DE. And something drew to me, innate really drew to saying, I'm going to manually adjust this shoulder, because we haven't done it at all. So I told the patient what we were doing, and she's like, all right, great. So I went to adjust that shoulder, and This patient jumped off the table and started bawling. And I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm about to get sued. But, she finally looked up at me and said, Dr. Seth, my shoulder feels so much better and I can move this now. She's like, and she started continuing to bawl her eyes out, saying, thank you so much for creating a space for me to feel safe and to feel loved, because she hadn't had it at home. She's been in a very stressful environment. It's just hasn't been great for her. So it was just amazing to hear her say, I've created a place for her to feel loved, feel safe, and I continued that through my entire time seeing her. And she was forever grateful for just holding space for her. And since then, I have made it the center of everything I do. Working with every patient I see, I just show up, serve with love, serve in abundance. And I really, really thank DE for teaching me a lot of that. And also shout out to Dr. Brian for also helping me and being a great mentor throughout this whole process. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am right now without him. So thank you very much. And I mean, that's pretty much what I have tonight. So I appreciate you guys having me on. So.
All right, Dr. Seth. Patrick, how'd Dr. Seth do?
Amazing.
Oh, we got one rave review for you, Dr. Seth.
Oh, great.
Great job, buddy. Really proud of you. Proud of the chiropractor you're becoming. I'm so thankful that we got you to DE and that you see the value and you keep coming back. And I hope you keep coming back even when you're in your own practice, which I know will be coming soon because you're a rock star already. I know you're just a year in, but you're wise beyond your years, my friends. And we love having you in the office, and we're super proud of you. And great job tonight. Really a great inspirational message for our viewers. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our Tuesday night Principal Chiro broadcast from DE. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Tuesday night Principal Chiro broadcast.
Wait, 9 a.m. Easter?
9 p.m. Yeah.
Easter?
Eastern. Yeah, Easter was last week. Take care.